Hello friends, and welcome to the weekly moon update. In these videos, we talk about the moon energy for the current week, as well as a little bit of astrology. In this video's case, we are talking about the week of August 3rd through the 9th, and because this is 2026, we're talking about a lot of astrology this week, as per usual. One of the reasons why I don't like to get too in depth into the astrology is because we're always having the planets are always moving, like everything is constantly going through this cycle, and it doesn't always affect everybody the same way. I like to have these videos be short and sweet and to the point and easier to understand. But we've just had so many crazy astrological things happening lately that I understand if it's confusing. And that's not really like what my intention was with these videos. But this year has just been so crazy with astrological shifts. And I know not all of it is easy to understand, but also know that like not all of it is going to affect you. But what is going to affect you, and what I truly believe in, is that the moon is going to affect you. The moon is circling around the sun with us. The moon is reflecting all of that cosmic energy onto us. So that's why I follow the moon. That's why I try not to pay too much attention to the the external planets and all of the other things. Like those things are going to happen and they're going to affect us in whatever way they're going to affect us. There's not really any way to change or move or shape that. There's ways to work with it, and there's ways to be prepared for it and understand it and to see how you might relate to it. But with the moon, like you are in charge of your energy and your emotions. The way the moon affects us, you do have control over that. You can change that. You can work with that energy very closely and very easily. So that's why I try to focus on the moon. But this year we've just had so many big astrological shifts that we're having to talk about so much astrology. And I know it gets confusing, and I try to break it down as simply as possible. And I do the best that I can, but I know it gets kind of crazy sometimes. This week is no different. Chiron is going retrograde. Venus is changing signs, and so is Mercury. So even though it's a last quarter moon week and we should be slowing down and getting ready for the new moon next week, we've still got a lot to talk about. So let's jump into it. As you can see, our last quarter moon is happening on Thursday, August 6th. So that means that the beginning of this week is a waning gibbous moon. We'll have our last quarter on Thursday, and then the weekend will be our waning crescent, meaning it's going to, the little sliver part is the light part, the crescent part, and it's going to get darker and darker until we have our dark moon, and then we'll have our little sliver of light, which will be the new moon next Wednesday. So as you can see, we have another nice start to the week this week, having an Aries moon day on a Monday. Makes for just like that Aries fire is that spring energy that just gives you that burst of energy to start things. And what better way to start off the week? Last week we had our Capricorn moon that hopefully gave you some encouragement to get things done. And now here we are with Aries. So it's a good time to just jump into the week. Jump into the week with that extra shot of espresso, with that fire energy, feeling active and motivated. Now, I know we have a waning gibbous moon here. Waning meaning decreasing with light, decreasing with energy, but fire is fire. Fire is going to burn even in one of the darkest, even the darkest nights. So Aries energy really does help you give that extra boost. That's why I call it like the extra shot of espresso, because it's just like this extra burst of energy that you need. Think of that spring energy that the plants have been underground in the dark all winter. And when Aries season comes and spring comes, it's that burst of energy to get up through the ground, to like pick yourself up out of that darkness and just, okay, let's go. Let's do this thing. It's time to move. So we'll be in Aries energy all day Monday, and the moon will start to transition late afternoon Tuesday at 2:51 p.m. and kind of a long transition. The moon will officially enter Taurus at 10:36 p.m. So we will officially start Wednesday with slower moving Taurus Earth energy. Before I jump into that though, I do want to mention that Chiron is going retrograde on Monday. So as you can see, it's going to be retrograde for a while and will not go direct until January 6th, 2027. Because it only just now moved into Taurus this year, as you can see, it's still so close to that Aries energy too. So by the time it does go direct, it is going to move back into Aries. We saw this dance with Pluto the last few years, and we saw this dance with Neptune and Saturn also. As they made their way into Aries, they kind of dipped back into Pisces, and that's simply what Chiron is doing here as well. Chiron, not technically a planet. Chiron is the place in our birth chart where we experience obstacles, lessons, often very deep and painful, potentially traumatizing lessons. This is the area in our chart that we came here to learn this lesson. We came here to understand this experience. So it is kind of a difficult planet to navigate. I do like, ever since Chiron moved into Taurus, I like this energy a lot more than Aries. So I felt like the Chiron in Aries was very kind of painful. It was very, like, I know when we talk about Aries, we talk about fire, but this felt like really spiky, like being cut kind of pain. At least that's how I like, very deep, painful things I experienced with Chiron and Aries. So I was looking forward to the Chiron and Taurus. I mean, obviously, like, it is going to go back into Taurus, but first it's going to retrograde back into Aries. When Chiron is retrograde, it gives us an opportunity to relearn those lessons, to understand something, find some clarity around the lessons that we've been learning. And it's really kind of interesting because I feel like just within like the last month or so, we've had like very big astrological shifts, and I've felt like, oh, I finally kind of understand like why, or I see like the point or the light at the end of the tunnel. And hopefully last week gave us a lot more clarity about things. But what always happens when we find clarity is that something's going to get thrown into the mix to like make it confusing again, or like just when you learn a lesson, or just when you get to like, oh, I'm at a place where I feel good and I feel happy, like something's going to happen to like stir that up, and like, oh, are you sure you're happy? Because what about all these things? And it's like, really, universe, can't we just like be comfortable and be relaxed and not be in fight or flight all the freaking time? But I mean, I guess that is the lesson in and of itself as well, that like how to remain calm, how to remain present and grounded and stable throughout times of chaos, throughout times of trauma, throughout the course of living life. So that's happening on starting on Monday. We may or may not feel this shift. Like I said, it's a very long retrograde, so it's kind of like an extended an extended kind of thing. It's not like a Mercury retrograde where like all these wounds and traumas and obstacles and lessons are going to pop up all of a sudden. I also feel like the outer planet retrogrades are more of like a reflective period than a like shaking things up period. So we have Aries all day Monday, most of Tuesday. We're starting off Wednesday with Taurus. Like I said, Aries is like jumping off the finish line. Taurus is slowing down. So because we're like right here at the last quarter moon here, this might really when you feel like after the last quarter, I always just feel like, okay, I'm doing too much. What can I set aside and finish at a later date? What can I set to after the new moon when I have more energy, when I have more time? So Taurus is a really good day to do that. Taurus is that lesson of slowing down, of being comfortable, taking your time, making the plans, setting the dates. So it would be nice to reorganize your schedule here. We also have Venus changing signs, which I think is interesting because I feel like that happens a lot. I feel like the moon is in either Taurus or Libra when Venus changes signs. It seems to be kind of close to that. That's probably not a thing. That's probably one of my theories that never works out. But Venus is moving into Libra. Venus is ruled by Libra, or Libra is ruled by Venus. And it's just really beautiful, lovely energy. Think of that time of fall when all the leaves are changing color and everything's just so gorgeous and the weather's perfect. And it's like this breath of fresh air. So Venus in Libra is very lovely energy. And I feel like it's kind of early for us to be experiencing Venus in Libra because normally Mercury, Mars, and Venus are pretty close to the sun season. So Venus is very, very ahead of the game this year. So that is kind of interesting to have Libra energy in the middle of summer. So kind of a long transition again, but like I was saying last week, I would so much rather have a nighttime void of course than a daytime, because these daytime long void of course times have just really been throwing me off. So 7:24 p.m. Thursday is when we start to transition into Gemini. And before we wake up, we're already going to be in Gemini. So Gemini on Friday is fun. It's social. It's watching the podcast, telling the story, going out with friends, talking on the phone, kind of fun, playful energy. Not taking things so seriously. So nice energy to have on a Friday at the end of the work week. Nice energy to have for the weekend. And for all day Friday, all day Saturday, the moon's going to do a quick transition into Cancer on Sunday. So we'll have a nice Cancer self-care, homey, mothering Cancer energy on Sunday, which also means we're starting off Monday with Cancer too. Oh, no, we've got a void of, oh my God. Long void of course time, almost a 24-hour void of course time next Monday. Oh, so maybe future Allison, be prepared for having a void of course Monday, because we haven't been focusing on void of course days, and that's all day, literally all day Monday, void of course. All right, good to know. So the energy of this, like last week felt so good. Like the energy of last week just felt amazing. Hopefully that will continue into this week. I don't know how we're going to feel about the Chiron retrograde. I've been thinking about doing a worksheet for Chiron to kind of help people work with Chiron energy. So maybe I'll have that out by then. But because the Barbo's basket worksheet that like really broke everything down really helped me out a lot. So I hope that those of you that got it found that very useful as well. And I think I'd like to do more of those in the future. So I love the Venus and Libra energy. I love last quarter energy too, because I really I put so much pressure on myself, and I'm kind of one of those people where like I have to do everything all at once all the time, and I have to stay busy. But unless, I don't know, it's like unless I give myself permission to just not to like relax a little bit. So when the first quarter is here, I let myself start to think, like, look at my schedule realistically and be like, okay, when the new moon's coming up, do you really think you're going to have the energy to do all of this, especially with a void of course moon day coming up? Like, look at it seriously, and I'll pick and choose what are the least amount the least energy draining tasks that I can do, and focusing on those. So you know what I was just thinking, like I've been trying to think of like the how the energy feels to me. It feels kind of Queen of Swords energy. Like it feels like we've had some clarity, we've overcome some obstacles, we've gotten to the other side of things. And like the Queen of Swords, she's beaten and she's bruised and she's has her wounds, but she's also more wise because of it. And I guess maybe that's why I felt drawn to the Priestess of Light Oracle by Sandra Ann Taylor and Kimberly Weber. Yeah, it kind of has this Queen of Swords energy. And we got number 41, Circle of Eternal Joy. The Dove of Spirit brings a blissful feeling of anticipation to the priestess of the dance. The pair faces outward in front of a portal that leads to an energetic realm. Oh, interesting. Okay. So I see the dove and it says a pair, so I guess this is also a dove. Kind of hard to see. So the pair faces outward in front of a portal that leads to the energetic realm. This mystical vortex is a place of power, where intentions and vibrations reach from the long-distance past into the infinite future. The dove is a symbol of eternal spirit, a divine consciousness that moves freely through time and space. Your soul is of the same spiritual nature, and your energy spirals through time, engaged in the dance of repetition and rebirth. Each turn of the dance, each life, and every day bring opportunities for joy. And your present joy spins blissful intentions into the fabric of the future. So remember that your soul has come to experience both happiness and self-mastery. Learn what there is to learn, but never forget to let your spirit soar. This card brings profoundly encouraging guidance. Your life is eternal, and you are always connected to the bliss of your spiritual perspective. No matter what you may be going through, know that you can still find happiness, purpose, and understanding in the dance that is your current life. There may be a literal message as well, a suggestion to dance more, perhaps to take dance lessons, and to find joy in movement and music. There might also be a party coming up, maybe even a wedding for you or someone you know. Remember to find your bliss in little moments. Let yourself dance, laugh, sing, and enjoy. The affirmation is, I live in a vortex of joyous energy. I listen to the beautiful music of my life and dance to my soul's sweet songs. So this very much kind of encapsulates like the energy that I'm feeling with this week, but that's kind of hard to describe. Like, I know that we've been through a lot. I know that it's been difficult. I know that like what we are experiencing is so crazy. And there's so many things that like are really difficult to describe and are really difficult to overcome. And I've had such like really profound sadness and really difficult things to overcome this year. And I know, and especially like in moments of grief, like you have those times where you feel like you're never going to be happy again. And sometimes in grieving, sometimes you feel like being happy again is a disservice to whatever it is that you're grieving. Like out of respect for that thing, it's like you're supposed to be sad now. You're supposed to cry, you're supposed to do all the things, but we are in control of our own emotions. Like I was saying at the beginning of this video, the reason I follow the moon, like you can control your life. You can manifest the things that you want, but more importantly, you can choose how to react to different situations. You can choose to be angry and frustrated and sad and to have all of these negative feelings. But you can also choose to be happy again. You can also choose to let it go. You can not, you don't have to hold on to that anger or grief or sadness or loss or whatever it is that you're experiencing. You don't have to hold on to it. We can let it go. We can let it go. We can experience it and let it go. I don't mean stuff it down. There's a huge difference. And it's a really hard, it's very subtle. Like to truly let yourself feel something and then let it go or process it or transmute it. There's a huge difference between doing that and then stuffing it down. And we're taught and trained, and most of us don't know how to do that. It's something that has to be learned, and that takes practice. So we continuously have these lessons that force us to practice, and then finally you get to a point where you know what works for you. I think it's different for everybody too. What that process is, what that transmutation is, what that wave is like for you. But you can dance again, you can sing again, you can feel joy and be joyous again. It makes me think of this movie I watched recently. I think it came out in 2024, so I guess I'm late to the game. Maybe it just came on streaming or something. It was called The Life of Chuck, and dancing was very much a big part of that movie. And it made me want to dance. Like I've always wanted to learn how to dance, like to like dance. And it's a good movie. I highly recommend watching that movie. Don't want to give too much away of it, but we got to dance no matter what. We got to experience the good things, even amongst the bad. So our chakra card is synchronicity. Your deepest insight and intuition have been activated, and others can see it in you now. Synchronicities and blessings are seeking you, finding the easiest path to your door. These are the result of divine flow of energy around you, the result of manifestation and deep connection to source. Enjoy and celebrate what is ahead of you. By honoring and paying attention to the connections and synchronicities around you, you open doors for additional blessings to arrive. So this is a third eye chakra card, and the crystal I recommend is labradorite, and the herb is blue lotus. I think synchronicities are like trying to reach us all the time, but it's about being grounded and centered and paying attention so that we're actually seeing it. I think they are trying to reach us all the time. And speaking of who's trying to reach us, we have angelite as our crystal today, a stone of compassion, peace, and calm. It facilitates clear celestial communication, attracts angelic presence, and acts as an anchor for the angelic guides. Angelite is a throat chakra stone that encourages self-expression, compassion, and calms the nervous system. The affirmation is, I am open to receiving the knowledge of my angels and guides. So interesting that like this card mentions peace, and then our oracle card had the doves, which are the symbol of peace in the center. And all these colors look very beautiful together. I love when that happens. Timelessness and dance of life. Well, I hope one of these weeks is one of those weeks where you feel like you're able to feel present, you're able to understand why we're going through what it is that we're going through. Hopefully you did get to experience some joy and some abundance last week. Hopefully we'll understand and learn from this Chiron retrograde. So now by now, what am I talking about? Okay, so Mercury went direct already, but so Saturn is retrograde, Neptune retrograde, Pluto, and now Chiron. So we've got 4 planets retrograde, and I haven't done September. I haven't looked at September yet, but I think that's it until October. I think the next retrogrades are in October, but we also have planets going direct in October too. So I think that what we have now is what we'll have for at least a month or so, at least through the month of August. So Chiron, we're relearning lessons, reevaluating lessons, reevaluating obstacles, reevaluating traumas, reevaluating wounds. Saturn retrograde, we're reevaluating boundaries. Neptune retrograde, we are relearning our connection to spirit. What is real, what is not real, trying to understand the difference between that, the boundary between that, which is kind of interesting that Saturn's retrograde also. And Pluto. So Pluto's transformation. And honestly, transformation is hard, change is hard. I like a Pluto retrograde to just kind of like slow down the transformation, get used to the changes that we've already made. Let those integrate, let those settle again, and then we can take another step and keep that evolution and transformation going. So what a beautiful card for this week. I really love this deck. I should use it more often. So thank you for being here. I hope that you have a wonderful last quarter moon week. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to see you on the other side of the looking glass again sometime soon.